Is anybody here? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Canada Day to my Canadian viewers out there. Today's a day off, so I bet you I've got a group of viewers today who are watching me casually, going, "This is great! I get to watch Uncle Bruce today rather than on the rerun because I don't have to go to the office. I don't have to go to work today." For my American friends, welcome Americans. You're still working today, but you're not going to be working on Thursday and maybe not Friday either. I have a suspicion that a number of my Americano viewership here are going to be kind of giving her for Monday and Tuesday and partially Wednesday, and then they're not doing anything Thursday and Friday as far as work goes. Option Writers is another. You're another group right there. So welcome all of you. Now, those of you in Europe and Asia and South America and the Caribbean and everywhere else you are, thank you all for being here as you always are. I appreciate you so very much, and I hope you're having an okay day and you're going to have an okay week, and it's going to be that much more exciting for you. I know in France, just had the elections yesterday. The far right party, which is, the right, are number one party. They got the most votes from the French people. They don't have an out-and-out majority, but they have the most votes. The number two party, kind of in the middle, has gained, and then the number one party, which is Macron, the president of France, they've slumped down into third place. So we're going to have a parliament in France run by the righties, and the president of the country a little more central. Going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, the voters in Germany and Poland and Italy and all these other countries, they're all wondering what's going to happen. This Thursday, we're going to find out how the United Kingdom is going. England is going on to an election, and the Tories are going to be wiped out. The existing governing party, the Tories, which are the Conservatives, are headed for a major, major defeat by Labour, which means England is going left. Go figure. England is actually shifting a little more to the left than from the right, while France is going right instead of from the left. And the Germans are going, what the hell's going on? Was ist los? Wie geht's? What are we going to do? They don't know. Unbelievable. In the meantime, if you follow world news and follow how people react to it, you'll understand or hear that Europeans and folks in the Mideast and in Asia and in Africa and many ordinary people, just regular old folks, all sit back and are asked, well, who's got it going on? What country has got its act together economically compared to where you are here in the Mideast, in Asia, in Europe, wherever you happen to be. And the vast majority of folks point right to the United States of America. And they go, that's the place I want to be economically. I want to be right where those Americans are because, man, have they got it good. Have they ever got it good? You ask Americans, generally speaking, on average, just on the street or whatever media you're following, and Americans are really upset. They're not happy at all. And the rest of the world thinks Americans have got it great, and Americans think they've got it gone awful. And what can I say? It depends on where you are. All politics is local. That's an old expression. All politics is local, and sometimes it's national, sometimes it's state, sometimes it's county, city, town, or sometimes it's just your local sheriff that dominates the stories in your neighborhood. I don't know. It's all local. And how you doing? Look, kids, if you're following me One, you probably have nothing better to do, so okay. Number two, you love looking at a guy who has a face for radio. You're weird. I am too. Or you know what? You've joined this channel because you know what you've heard about lately, or you've heard about in the past, is you've heard about this guy that sits in front of his computer, is not sponsored by anybody. He never pitches any major corporation goods and services, although he does drink caffeine-free Diet Coke. Never gets a call from the Coca-Cola Corporation. All that free plugging, nothing. Not even a tote bag. He loves to travel with his hot wife, his Jennifer Aniston lookalike wife. And what this guy talks about actually helps make people money. And there's the reason I'm here. For some reason, this channel just has a way of finding ways to tell you how to make money in the market. And for a number of you, you've figured it out. You've gone, you know what? I am making money in this market. I am making money, have been making money since 2021, since Uncle Bruce went on the air. I have learned through this guy how to write stock options. And I didn't know what an option meant. I didn't know what that word was. All I heard was anytime I'd ask anyone I thought knew the markets, they would say to me, oh, stock options, there's a guaranteed way to go broke. Stock option investors lose everything. And you don't want to go there. When some of you watch the movie Dumb Money, interestingly enough, some of you watched the movie Dumb Money, and you never watched me before, but you watched that movie out of curiosity, whatever. And some of you watched that movie twice and three times because you were curious what was on the phone that people were holding. The camera, the movie people would move in on the telephone and zoom in on a trade that people were making on GameStop. And what the viewers noticed, some of you, a very small number, because 99% of the movie-going public is oblivious, you noticed that the actors portraying people were buying and selling options, not just stock, in GameStop. And for some of you, you did some maybe Google searching on options on GameStop, and then somehow you found this channel. Some crazy disconnect put you here. Now, a lot of you who are here all the time and have been here kind of off and on over the last 3 years, you heard about my channel back in 2021, 2020. Because I started going live at that time to explain the market in plain English. And you come and go, and you come and go, and you hang around. And a number of you have decided, I'm going to follow this guy. I'm going to learn how to write options. I like this game because people sure can get awfully rich playing the options game. And lately, Keith Gill has made apparently a ton of money playing the options market on GameStop and now apparently on Chewy. Apparently, there's money in them there hills. And this morning, what have we heard? First thing this morning, we hear that Keith Gill owns 9 million shares of Chewy, the company that that Ryan Cohen, who's the CEO of Chief Executive Officer of GameStop and Chairman of the Board of GameStop, the company he helped create back in 2011-12, that he sold off in 18, 19. Our friend Keith Gill, Roaring Kitty, owns 9 million shares of Chewy. Now, the media says, or not the media, but the SEC filing that came out says that ownership of stock of 9 million shares represents 6% of all the shares outstanding. 6% voting control. And I say, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's right. I think there's a little problem here. And here's the disconnect. Apparently, there are 130 odd million shares of Chewy out there trading right now in the open markets. These are shares that are called Class A shares. Or right now we're at $30.35. We're up $3.11 on the stock, which is 11% today. So almost 7 million traded this morning. 7.3 million. But the Class A shares aren't all the shares. In other words, the votes that control this company are not only held by the public in Class A voting stock. No, there are Class B voting shares outstanding as well. And each of those shares have 10 votes, where Class A shares have 1 vote. And the word is, the story goes that about 300 million shares of Class B stock is out there that controls 90% of the votes. And so Keith Gill does have 6% of all the shares that trade on Chewy, the Class A trading shares, yes, but he doesn't have 6% of the votes. He has maybe a quarter, 0.5% of the votes of the company's affairs and who gets to do what, who's the chairman, who will be the directors, what direction will the company go, and so on. Okay. The high and the low of Chewy, I'm looking at my little computer here, my phone. You could get this yourself on marketwatch.com, any of you. The low for the last 52 weeks, 14.69. That was just a couple of months ago. The high, 39.46 in the last 52 weeks. Well, the market cap is $11.8 billion, almost $12 billion. But the math doesn't add up. You get 133 million shares free trading, 137 million Class A shares are out there. You multiply 137 million shares that are out there by the $30 a share price we are trading at right now. This is $3.9 billion, $4 billion max. Where does the other $8 billion come from? The Class B shares that are outstanding and held by one entity that controls everything behind the scenes. This is the major turnoff for me for Chewy. This is a turnoff every time a new company goes public and does a public offering, an IPO. This is how Wall Street rigs the game against the average investor. The average investor that buys and sells Chewy stock are gambling on the company's success or failure, of course, and are the ones taking all the risk economically because they have to buy or sell the stock on the open market, whatever it's going for. And in reality, the Class A shareholders of Chewy are saps. If you're a shareholder of Chewy, you're a sap because you have no voting control over this corporation. The board of directors doesn't give a crap about you, doesn't have to worry about you, doesn't have to be concerned of your mood whatsoever, because at the end of the day, 90% of the votes are held by one shareholder that doesn't answer to anyone but themselves. And the saps who buy and sell Chewy stock trying to figure out, oh, is there a takeover coming? There is no takeover coming of Chewy. The number one shareholder of Chewy is in no danger of being voted out and being replaced by somebody else. So Roaring Kitty can buy up all the Chewy stock he wants in any way he can do it. It won't make a damn bit of difference as to who runs the company and what direction the company goes in, because Class B shares are the ones who rule the roost. This is why I see new IPOs come out, or I hear about an IPO, or I read about an IPO, and when I see stuff like, oh yeah, they're issuing stock representing about 15% of the company's shareholder base. There's already there's like 200 million shares outstanding, and they're going to issue 30 million shares at $25 a share to the public. I don't look for that information necessarily. What I want to know is who has the votes to run the company. And that's when you find out, oh, well, yeah, the Class A shares are being offered. Some Class A shares are being offered from the Treasury into the open market. But the Class B shares that convert into Class A shares anytime the person wants to convert, they have 10 votes for every share, Class A share. There's the power. And so it's a sucker's game. It's a complete sucker's bet. And Wall Street knows it. Wall Street is completely in on this game. It's how they sell going public to management of corporations that are worried Like they want to raise money and grow their business, but they don't want to give up control of their business. And so they're saying, look, we don't want to happen to us what happened to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs at Apple owned 70% of the company. He and Steve Wozniak owned all of the company at one point. Then they brought equity in and gave up some control, and they went public and gave up more. And sure, Steve Jobs became a millionaire because of his stock position that he had, but he wasn't now 51% controller of Apple anymore. He was now, less than 20%, less than probably 10%. And eventually he was kicked out by the board of directors when Apple wasn't surging anymore. And so the founder of the company, the visionary of the company, gone. New management today look back at 1980, whatever, when Apple went public, and they go, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not interested in giving up control of my company to raise $200 million or $300 million. We've built this company for 5 or 10 or 15 years with all of our core employees to a certain point in time, certain growth level, and we're not about to now walk away. We want to raise money to grow the company and expand it, but we want to do that over the next 10 years. We don't want to be subject to one quarter and another quarter and another quarter of performance and now being kicked out by activist investors. That's the price you pay when you go public, because if you issue all your stock as voting stock and the street owns more than you do, the street could ultimately kick you out. And now you have a different group of shareholders who run the company that are focused on quarter by quarter by quarter results only, and not the long-term growth of the corporation. Well, Chewy, smart move by management, really. They went public, but they only offered up a smidgen of the control of the company to the outside world, to the idiots who were dumb enough to buy Chewy stock and not realize that they have no votes. Shareholders of Chewy take all the risk and get no upside, because earnings per share are divided into all the shares outstanding, including Class B shares. So I don't see the upside for a Class A shareholder of Chewy, other than, well, you could perhaps have a short squeeze on Class A common stock. You could have a scenario where there's people shorting this stock because they think the stock's overvalued. Sure. And maybe a Class A stock player like Keith Gill moves in with a 9 million share acquisition of stock and is creating a lot of hype around the stock, saying, hey, I've got 6% of the company now, or 6% of the Class A shares. And we're putting a squeeze on the rest of the Class A shareholders. Well, yeah, maybe the stock will go to 35 or 37. It went to 33, 35 this morning in the pre-market. It's now back to 30, 48. But at the end of the day, Keith Gill doesn't own 6% of jack squat. This guy just poured a ton of money, $245 million, into stock where he has no voting power. It's meaningless. He's not going to. Why would they make him a board of director? Why would Chewy want him in the corporation in any way, shape, or form? Does Chewy need to raise money to survive like GameStop did? No. Chewy has $500 million in cash, $600 million in cash. Chewy's cash rich. Chewy makes money. They're cash flow positive. They're growing their business. What experience does Keith Gill bring to the table? Keith Gill is a great individual to have in your sphere if you need exposure for your stock. Like, for example, if he were to buy up a bunch of Sofi stock, now that would be something else. Not that Sofi needs to raise money, but awareness of the company and the upside of the company. Oh, wow, Keith Gill would put Sofi on the awareness level to a level you cannot imagine. Can you imagine how many millions of people would find out about Sofi's inner workings and how incredibly advanced Sofi is and how unbelievably profitable this company is going to become, and what a force in fintech banking Sofi is and will be? It would be great. But he's not into Sofi. He's into Chewy. And he's put $245 million, which is chump change for him nowadays. Maybe not 5 years ago. The dumb money. He didn't have $245 million. But he's doing pretty good now. And God bless him for it. I'm really happy for Keith Gill. Roaring Kitty Becoming a billionaire? Oh, shows you what's possible depending on how you play the market. Wow. But when it comes to you paying your bills, what are you going to do? How are you going to play this market as a whole and make it go of it? Because you have a lot of issues you're dealing with out there, don't you? You're dealing with job security, you're dealing with family security, you're dealing with maybe medical issues, you're dealing with relatives that you're looking after, you're dealing with car payments that you can't believe the kind of car payments either you have or you might have if you want to switch a vehicle. You can't believe the cost of real estate going forward. You can't believe the cost of rent, and on and on and on it goes. So joining this channel here, you figured out, well, I'm going to become an option writer and I'm going to bring money in on the side. I have a side gig with Uncle Bruce over here. I'm going to bring in some cash, and that'll help alleviate my issues. And I say, yeah, more power to you. Now, what stocks do you write options on, and what stocks do you avoid to write options on, and why? Because people ask me all the time, how do you choose the stock? How do you choose the issues? How do you avoid having viewers get into the wrong kind of stock to do option writing on? And I do my best. I really do. If you're a regular here, you know I beg and plead with you guys. Stop being smarty pantses and stop trying to outthink this stock market and stop trying to outmaneuver this market. Go with the market. Let the market tell you where it wants to go, and play it that way. You're going to get into option writing, you better be into companies where option trading is very heavy, where there's really good liquidity to get into a position and get out of a position, or to get out of a position to get back into a position. You need liquidity. You need tight spreads between bids and asks when it comes to playing options. You can't get into an option where there's a buyer willing to buy a contract that you're looking at getting involved with, where the buyer's at 3 and the lowest seller is 4. That's a $1 spread. That is a recipe for complete annihilation of your money. There is no market there. When you have a $1 spread between bid and ask, that's not a market. That's an indication of the value of the contract without any commitment whatsoever. You take a look at options for SPY, triple Qs, Apple, Microsoft, around at the money prices, NVIDIA, for example, as well. Heavily traded, very active options. You'll find the spreads are very, 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 very narrow. And you may find that the spreads are pennies between buyer and seller. You may find that the options trade at penny increments up and down all the time as the shares move up and down all the time. That's excellent liquidity. That means you can avoid the trap of getting caught trying to write a contract where there's no buyer and then try to buy back a contract where there is no seller. You have to avoid that trap. On something like Chewy, I don't know what to tell you to do. If you're an option writer and you don't own Chewy stock, there's nothing for you to do here. There really isn't anything for you to do here. Now, in theory, I've said this before on my classes. You've been watching my classes and you've been watching me here. Sure, theoretically, you don't have to be a shareholder of a stock to write options on a stock. And you can be a writer of options where you will set the risk level to be an option writer. No question about it. Absolutely right. You've taken my classes. You're taking them now. You're having a one-on-one with me. We're going over it together. You hang out here and you realize, yes, Bruce, that's right. I can write options on NVIDIA without owning a single share of NVIDIA. I can write options on Apple, on Microsoft, on the SPY index, on the triple Q ETFs. I can write options on anything. And I don't have to own a damn share of any of this stuff. You're right. But you gotta understand what the stock is telling you. You have to go with what the stock is telling you to do, not what you think the stock is going to do. Because if you're playing that game where, Bruce, I know what's going on. I know what's going to happen with this market. Trump's going to win the presidency, and all the Republicans are just going to love life, and all these tax breaks are coming. And corporate America is just going to rule the roost because the Republicans in the White House and the Republicans in the Senate and the Republicans in the House and all the Republican-dominated free trading stock companies out there, the markets are going to the moon. It's going to be fantastic. Except for maybe one little tiny detail, and that is that if a corporation has everything going for it, from the tax angle, the federal write-offs, the accounting side of things, trying to raise money in the market, fabulous, it's got all going. At the end of the day, though, any public company out there, including Chewy or GameStop or IBM or Apple, you got to have customers for your product. Because sooner or later, a public company, represented by shareholders, of course, on stock that's trading on the market, they have to come back to their shareholders to say, hey, kids, in the last 13 weeks, the last quarter, the last 3 months of time, here's how we did. Every 13 weeks, it's time to hand in your report card to mom and dad and show mom and dad how you're doing. Now, you're in high school having a great old time, and you're chasing the girls around, and you got your buddies, and you're the top. You're one of the bullies around school. You're the quarterback for the football team. It's all great for you until report card time, because at that point in time, your performance academically now gets handed over to those in control of your life. Because as a high school kid or a college kid, it's all good until the money runs out, because you're not making any money. And when it comes time to showing the report card to your mom, your dad, your parents, they want to know how you doing. I know you're having a great time, but are you going to be able to get a day job when school is over? When it comes to publicly traded companies, every 13 weeks they have to hand in the report card to the market. They have to file to their shareholders, which is mom and dad. Shareholders dominate and control what management ultimately does in the long run. And if a company is losing market share, winning on the tax deduction front, but losing on the sales front, or margins aren't going so well, or there's supply chain issues, or stuff like, we sell this widget in the USA to all these American clients of ours. We have customers in every state in the United States. We're the dominant seller of blah, 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 whatever this is. Except for one thing. We don't have factories in Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, or anywhere, actually, in the USA. We happen to have factories to produce our parts for our products in China. We produce stuff in China under license, like Apple does. We do what Apple does. We figured out that Steve Jobs and Tim Cook and all the geniuses at Apple, they have, by the way, I believe it's every single day on, this is a few years ago now, on United Airlines, there was a direct flight every day, or not, if not two, every day, from San Francisco to Shanghai. Every day, from Shanghai to San Francisco, 2 flights going like this through United. And every flight that went over and back, Apple had pre-booked 50 business class seats per flight. 2 flights a day, at least 5 days a week, pre-booked for Apple at all times for executives to come and go, back and forth, back and forth. So rather than create jobs in the United States and produce this entity here in the U.S. in volume, can you imagine if you had factories in the United States that made 50 million of these a year in the United States, how cheap this would be to make in America? You could produce this in America for less than $75 a unit. But because you're making it in China instead, you can produce this thing for $25 or $35 a unit. Because remember, all the parts for this thing are not made in America either. They're all made in China. So yeah, you could make all the parts in China, ship all the parts over to America, and final assembly this, but that would be inefficient. The best way to do it is to have everything produced in one place, in one region, and then just make the final product and import it into the United States. And what you do is you bribe all the senators and all the Congress people and all the other officials out there through super PACs and what have you, through congressional hearings and all kinds of, fair business tactics and everything else. You bribe everyone with super PACs to make sure you do not get nailed a 500% tariff on your iPhones when you bring them into the United States. You call this a USA corporate. You call this a USA product because it was designed and engineered in the US, which that's also not true anymore. And then it's brought back to Americans for Americans to use. But the moment that the Trump administration takes over and puts in a 50% tariff on everything from China into the United States, which might include this, because Apple sure isn't leading the way to re-elect Trump right now. They're not sponsoring Trump's rallies in Cupertino or anything like that. Maybe he'll take that personally and go, well, Apple doesn't deserve my help because they hadn't helped me get back into the White House. Maybe companies like Apple and millions of others, gazillions of others, who are publicly traded, are going to find that their merchandise coming into the U.S. is 30% higher to the American consumer, who cannot afford to pay 30% more for a good and service that, as it is, because they can't afford to pay right now what they have to pay for goods and services. And now Apple comes clean to the market and says, here's our report card. Our sales are off 5%. Our margins are, our earnings are down, and it doesn't look good for the next quarter either. Well, now the party is over when it comes to the market. The stock market party is over. Even though you got the guy you want in the White House, you got the kids you want in the Senate, you got the kids you want in that House, you convinced the country to go completely over to the right side, all to the business side. You got what you wanted. But at the end of the day, consumers who vote with their wallets and who only have so much to spend are finding that as good as it is for the business parties to be doing what they're doing, I cannot afford to get a new iPhone right now. It's not that I won't get a new iPhone. I will eventually get a new iPhone, but it'll have to be on payments through my phone provider. But I'm going to have to delay the decision by 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or a year. Stocks trade on future estimated performance. Stocks do not trade on how much money we made in the 90s, how much money we made last year. Stocks trade on how much money people think they're going to make next year, next quarter, this quarter. And stocks react violently, badly, when there is talk from management as simple as, we had a great quarter, we sold a record number of items, our margins are great, we got a bunch of cash in the bank, we were blown away by how great it was. Next quarter, we're not quite so sure, but we hope it'll be just as good. The stock will tank 20% right freaking now because management is not showing off it's just going to continue. It's just going to be great. There is no corporate board in the United States or Canada or England or Germany or France or Italy or Japan or anywhere that can tell you right now with complete assurance, we're going to make a ton of money next year. No matter who's in the White House, it's going to be great. That ain't going to happen. That's not happening, and it's only going to get worse. That's why right now markets may well be at their all-time highs for quite some time. This might be it. This might be as good as the markets get for a while, even if there's talk of interest rate cuts, mediocre inflation numbers, just it's all going to be great. Not necessarily. The entire economy of America, Canada, the UK, it all has to be going up at the same time for everybody. You can't only have the very, very, very wealthy do well through dramatic tax cuts on income from dividends or interest income or whatever. You can give them all the breaks you want and then say, well, yeah, look, when the very, very, very rich of this world in our country get richer, they're going to spend all kinds of money of their wealth, and that's going to trickle all down to the rest of us. This was tried in 1980 to 1990. Big time. This was the national program. This was the game plan of the White House, the Congress, the Senate. It was the big play during the Reagan presidency, and it didn't work. It blew up, and people resigned and walked out because they went, I'm not putting my name on this. Voodoo economics is what it was called, and oh, did the U.S. economy take a hit, and oh, did the layoffs come through, and oh, did the U.S. deficit go completely out of control. On a percentage basis, it just blew out. It was rescued by one guy. One guy rescued the American economy. One guy rescued the bond market. One guy stepped up and rescued and turned it around. And then that guy got his butt handed to him and was shown the door and was never heard from again politically for the rest of his life. And who was that guy? Who was the guy that stepped up and said to America, we have to do this, and I'm going to support this move to save this economy, save this country? George Herbert Walker Bush. Daddy Bush, the Vice President of the United States under Ronald Reagan for 8 years, became the President of the United States, riding the Reagan wave of popularity. And he said, no new taxes. Read my lips at the convention, no new taxes. Well, 2 years later, he was faced with Armageddon, complete Armageddon. And he realized, we can't continue these ridiculous tax cuts to corporate everybody and to the very wealthy, because 80% of the United States population is getting its butt handed to it with incredible inflation, high interest rates, and a declining standard of living. And so he had to enact tax increases, which took 3 years to affect the economy. It took 3 years to show the results of that move and the positive effect on the U.S. economy, which was so positive, was so good, that it blew away even the economists. They could not believe how well these tax increases actually affected the United States standard of living, deficits, interest rates, inflation, and productivity. And the guy that benefited from that move, the guy that got all the, theoretically, he got the glory, but he didn't, because nobody wanted to give this guy any credit whatsoever, was William Jefferson Clinton. Mr. Clinton, who became president for 2 terms, despite all of his problems, was an 8-year president who benefited from George Herbert Walker Bush's about-face on taxation. And it pissed off Republicans forever. They couldn't believe that a Democrat would get all the kudos for what their Republican guy did that they didn't want him to do. They didn't credit George, and they sure didn't credit Clinton. They just blamed all the problems of the world on everything and anything else. The United States had such an economic growth, and the Treasury and the U.S. IRS, the Income Tax Service of the United States, hauled in so much cash from this hot economy that it ran a surplus, a budget surplus in the United States for like 3 years in a row. And it was so dramatic, the turnaround, so dramatic, that the United States Treasury stopped issuing 30-year bonds for about 4 or 5 years. Bonds were not sold to investors with 30-year time frames. Only 10-year bonds were issued. Even 20 years were hard to come by. The U.S. was issuing 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, and 10-year notes only whenever old debt came due, and they would renew it and re-roll it at lower rates because rates had started to drop in the 90s. Rates started to fall off in the 90s from the 70s. This was what was going on. It takes years for the effect to hit. And right now, there are people out there who are whispering, well, wouldn't it be great if Orange Boy came back into power? That'd be great. And others are going, yeah, but there's this one thing. There's this one little thing. Buyers of goods and services are all not only, it's not just Republicans that buy bread. It's Democrats that buy bread and non-voters that buy bread and burgers and coffee cups and pens and cars and pay rent and you name it. Just the whole enchilada. Everybody in an economy, in a society, is part of the economic engine. And if certain people feel richer, they're going to go up and spend and have a great old time. The problem is that when 90% of the population doesn't feel like they're being carried to a higher level because they're not in the 10%, they're in the bottom 90. And of the bottom 90, 60% are the real bottom. Those folks don't feel part of the party. The economy falters. And when that happens, people start holding back, whether they are forced to hold back or they voluntarily hold back. And that's what begins the downdrift. And so there you go. There's the problem right there. Where are you going to go? Now, look, again, if you want to blame anybody, go ahead and blame anyone you want. But at the end of the day, where is the economy really going despite who you blame? You can blame every problem you have on the rest of the world. China's great at it. China blames the United States for all their problems, right down to domestic problems. Domestic problems in China are the fault of America. They're perfect at doing that. Russia's pretty good at it too. North Korea, same thing. At the end of the day, if we don't buy new cars, we don't fill our gas tanks with gas, if we don't buy new furniture for our homes, if we don't build new homes, we don't improve homes we've got with renovation work, if we don't invest in AI, we don't invest in high technology, we don't invest in a better way to build a mousetrap, we economically all suffer. It's the end of the end game right there. We just all suffer. And for a while, you can hold it off. For a while, you can pretend that all is well. You can put in economic stimulus packages and make it appear like things are working well, like corporate America does. They'll come out with an announcement like our sales were flat last quarter, and we sold just as much as we sold the quarter before. We made $2 million less, $20 million less, whatever less in actual revenue because inflation took a bite. However, we're announcing a $5 billion stock buyback program. And the stock goes up because investors are only listening to one part of that press release. They're going to buy back $5 billion worth of their stock so there will be fewer shares outstanding, and that'll be better for us. That's a wonderful temporary thing to do. The problem with the stock buyback announcement is it isn't worth the paper it's written on. It's worthless because no obligation has been made by the public company to follow through with the purchase of the stock. What you don't see every week, every month, you do not see evidence of corporate America coming out and saying, last month our corporation bought back 4.7 million shares at an average price of blah, blah, blah per share. They don't brag about that. You don't see them doing that. You hear about stock buyback programs all the time. Every quarter, the companies will reiterate it, will re-promote it. We've added $2 billion to our buyback. It's now a $9 billion buyback program. And that's open-ended. There's no end date and no guarantee date on any of it. When does it start? How long is it for? And when will it be done? Zero. The only guarantee corporations ever make is when they announce a dividend, because they're very reluctant to do that. A corporation is very careful to announce a dividend, because once you announce a dividend, you better keep that up. Because once you stop raising your dividend or you begin to cut down the dividend, you are now labeled a loser. Now the street's going, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Shareholders aren't getting a 30 cent a share dividend anymore. It's now 20 cent a share dividend. Oh, that's a sign of economic trouble. This is why corporations don't like doing dividends. They hate being locked into something like that. Whereas stock buybacks, you mean I can do a press release? The board of directors says, you mean we can do a press release saying we're going to do a $5 billion stock back and a buyback and not buy back any stock at all? We can actually get away with this? Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we tell the world that we think our shares are undervalued and that we're going to do a stock buyback? That's great. That'll make this could pop the market right now. And since we're in a 13-week cycle of report card issuing here, every 13 weeks you got to come out. What can we do today that makes the stock look good for the next 13 weeks? That's all we're worried about. We're not worried about what's going to happen in 15 weeks and 18 weeks, because the management of public companies, generally speaking, today are not owners of the company. We're talking about management teams that have been hired to run the corporations. And the number one function of current management is to make the biggest shareholders of the company feel good about their investment. Who are the biggest shareholders of publicly traded companies overall? The biggest hedge funds in the world, the biggest ETFs in the world, the largest mutual funds in the world, the largest pension funds in the world own corporate America, corporate Canada, corporate Europe, corporate everywhere. And management teams are there to make them happy with their investment in the company. Now, if management comes out and says, we're going to do a $5 billion buyback, and the stock goes up 5% in value over the next 3 months, all pension funds are happy. All ETFs are happy. All hedge funds are happy because the stock is going up. It's not plummeting. That's great. Whatever trick you can use to keep the game going is the trick you're going to use. And if you think this is a one-quarter thing, think again. IBM did stock buybacks as their number one form of stock engineering, stock price engineering, for 15 years in a row. Every quarter, 4 times a year, they kept bragging about how much stock they were buying back. And they did buy back stock. They really did. IBM, instead of building new factories, new distribution centers, hiring another 20,000 employees in America or in Canada for their client, no, they bought their stock back. They gave up expanding their corporation. Who's the number one company right now that buys the most stock back of any company on the planet? Has been for a decade. Apple. Apple Corporation does not build factories in Texas, in Florida, in Indiana, in Washington State, in California, anywhere in the United States. Apple does not invest in producing its product in the United States and has no plans to do so. Apple plans on selling MacBook Pros, the one I'm using here, iPhones, big-ass iPads, all the Apple product that I'm sitting on. They're going to continue to produce this product overseas in China, and they're going to continue to max out their profitability to the very end degree. I don't think you can read this down here. Can you see this little type right here? See what it says right there? Designed by Apple in California, assembled in China. This is what it's all about. This is corporate America in a microcosm, in just one example. This is what corporate America has turned into. This is what it is. And they use the benefits, the gains from the sale of this product to generate enough capital to pay all the bills and to buy back stock on the open market. There you go. Now, as an option writer, you've got to sit back and go, okay, Bruce, this is great. I love your rants and all that stuff, but how do I make money? And I say, look, Apple stock right now is doing really well. Apple stock has really, had a pretty good run of it lately. You might be able to take advantage of this nice little move on Apple stock. You might be able to make yourself some nice dough in your account, retirement account, or your trading account, RSPs in Canada, TFSAs. How can you make money on Apple? Well, if you're a shareholder, you can write call options on it. If you're not a shareholder of Apple, you can now write options on Apple. And writing put credit spreads is a great way to go, where $500, you can write a put credit spread on Apple. $500 is what you're risking to make a trade on Apple. That's 100 shares of stock that you are making a bet on for $500. And it's a conservative trade. It can be an extremely conservative trade, actually, where you can write put options on Apple, or call options, but let's just say put options. You can write put options and buy put options on Apple stock that expire in the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks. They don't die this Friday, they die next Friday. And you can have a $5 spread between the put that you write and the put that you buy. And this is a credit spread. This is a trade where you put up $500 in collateral and collect money, more money coming to you than you're paying out to do the trade, which is, of course, completely the opposite of what all of you have been taught about the market. You're supposed to have money to invest in the market to buy something and then sell it later at a higher price. The problem with that story is that you're never told when to sell. The good news about doing a credit spread is that since it only has a short lifetime to be in existence, it does close out. And you do have to buy it back and shut it down or let it expire worthless. You decide, however, what to do rather than the market tell you what to do. You actually get to decide which way to go on this. If you write a very conservative Apple put credit spread, or Microsoft, or Amazon, or Google, or Nvidia, or whatever, GameStop, whatever one you want, you are the one controlling how long the contracts live for and when they die, what the strike prices of these contracts are going to be, the amount of risk you're going to put up to write the contracts in the first place, the spread differential between the put you write and the put you buy. And you're going to collect the credit on it. And you'll decide whether or not it's worth your while or not. And for some of you out there, you look at it and go, Bruce, I'm a little bit more of a action-oriented kind of person. I would really like to be involved in NVIDIA. I'd love to be involved in the SPY ETF that mirrors the S&P 500. I love the leverage of this. I love the leverage of the triple Q, the QQQ ETFs that mirror the NASDAQ index. I'm more in tune with that. And I say to you, more power to you. If you want to have a trade that gives you a $200 spread risk, a $400, a $500, an $800, a $1,000, a $1,500, a $2,000, name your risk tolerance price. You have 10 grand lying around and you want to get involved in $5 spread contracts, you're going to be involved in 20 contracts. That's 2,000 shares of whatever entity you want to be involved with. There's no way in hell that you know and I know. You cannot go out there and try to buy Apple stock at $210 a share. You cannot afford to buy 2,000 shares of Apple stock right now. 1,000 shares of Apple is $210,000. 2,000 shares of Apple, 420 grand. How many of you, hold your hand up, could at a moment's notice put 420 grand into your brokerage account and buy up 2,000 shares of Apple right now? Almost none of you. And the motivation, there's definitely none of you that want to do that. But with $10,000, you could write 20 put credit spreads on Apple. That controls 2,000 shares of Apple. You'll get a credit against that capital. Now, it depends on just how long the contracts live for, what the strike prices are, what the credits are coming your direction. This is why you take my classes. But you may find that for 10 grand, you can bring in $800 for 2 weeks of time. And you're asking yourself, Bruce, come on, man. Look, I got bills, okay? $800 coming to me in the next 10 trading days. Boring. I'm not paying off a bunch of bills here. But on the other hand, I'm looking at you going, yeah, but wait a minute, Chester. Am I asking you to put up $420,000 to bring in $10,000? Or am I telling you you can put up 10 grand and bring in 800? That's 8% on your capital in the next 2 weeks that you might have to put up here. Think about the mathematics of it, which I know for some of you is not your strong suit. I understand. But you've got to put this into perspective. If every 2 weeks you can bring in $800 on an investment, just again, this is theoretical, but every 2 weeks, $800. How much money a year is this? That means 26 times a year. That's 2 weeks times 26 is 52 weeks a year. 26 times you can bring in $800. How much money is that to you? Got your calculator going? Have you figured it out? This is a ton of money. This is $18,000. But hold it, Bruce. Didn't you say you needed 10 grand to do this? Are you telling me sitting there without any hair on your head on Canada Day, where I have a day off, are you telling me I can take 10 grand and make $800 on it 26 times a year, and I'm bringing in $18,000 from 10? I'm saying, yeah. And on top of that, you can compound it. If you're leaving that money in the account, you're going to have $28,000 working for you a year from now. You're not bringing in $800 every week. You're bringing in 2.8 times that now because you're running with 28,000, not 10. It's the power of options. We have so much to cover. Thank you for joining me today. We're open. The markets are open. It's 7:30 in the morning, and look who's back. Look who's back in town, baby. Larry Titus is here. How you doing, pal? Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. We're trading $23.39 right now on GameStop. We're down $1.29 a share. Welcome to the party, pal. It's great to have you here. I really miss doing this, we missed you too, my friend. Welcome back. So glad to have you here. This is fantastic. Thank you all so much for joining me today, hanging out with me so far this morning. For those of you who are, joining us regularly, you know the routine. Please become a subscriber. I always ask. And thank you again for those of you who have become subscribers of this channel. But if you really want to become part of this family, you really want to join in on this group, become a member of this channel. If you do that, you are definitely part of the family now. You are a big part of my family. You become a member of this channel, whether it's a Chillin' member or a Gold Bagel member. You're keeping us on the air. Thank you again, all of you who have been here for just year after year, quarter after quarter, month after month, week after week, day after day. Thank you all for joining this channel and never backing off from hanging out with the old man here. I appreciate you so very much. We have 123 thumbs ups out of 425 watchers. I thank you for that. Look at the poll question today. 456 respondents here. Should GameStop and Chewy merge? That's my question. Should GameStop and Chewy merge to create one company? 44% say, yeah, they should do that. 56% say, I don't think so. I don't think we should have them merge into one. Even though Ryan Cohen originally created the company, he was the guy who originally made, with his partners, he created Chewy. And then he sold it, $3.5 billion. He did quite nicely. And the company's gone down the road quite a long way here. It's its own public company now. Even with all that, I don't think the two should become one. Roaring Kitty decided to become a shareholder of Chewy to the tune of 9 million shares, as best as we can figure. As much as we know, we think that's what's going on. Let's see just what happens. Now, by the way, Mandu, 122, good morning. You were moving up on your thumbs up meter. Thank you, those of you who are just nailing the thumbs up meter. Even if you don't tell us, if you do hit the thumbs up button and you are a member of this channel, let me know what number you are today. I'd love to hear from you. Welcome all to the show, and welcome all to the party, pal. We're trying to get this thing going. We're trying to see what kind of money you can make here today in this market. The Dow's up 191. Not too bad. A nice little start to the session. AI is up a couple of cents here. GameStop at 23.11, down 158 a share. How long it'll stay there, I don't know. Chewy's at 28.90, $29. It's up 150. It was like 33, 35 this morning at one point. And now it's only at 28.50 here. We're losing steam on Chewy. 13 million traded to open the day for Chewy in 4 minutes. That was expected. GameStop, 5 million. That's quite a bit more than normal, actually. Lately, we've been down to like, 1 million shares in the first few minutes, 2 million shares after 5 minutes. Well, we're at 5.3 million. But I wonder, is GameStop being acquired by shorters right now? They're gobbling this stock up because it's come down to them. And those of you who watch me regularly here, are a bunch of you folks smiling right now? I mean, really happy, because you guys wrote contracts last week on GameStop. You were writing call options that you had bought back. You wrote new call options last week. Are there a bunch of you here at $22.99 that are going, this is great? I wrote 25s, I wrote 26s, I wrote 27s, I wrote 28s, I wrote 30s, I wrote 35s. Bruce, I wrote 40s. Are you buying back your call options for dirt this morning? I sure hope you are. That would be a really good move. Those of you with options expiring in July or August or September, those of you who did rollovers way back, like a month or two ago, you had to roll up your contracts and go all the way to January 2025. Those of you who went to January 2026, you wrote 40s, $50, $60 calls. Are those falling off the face of the earth? You should be buying those back. At the very least, you should be rolling backwards now. You should be buying back your January 26s or June 25s or January 25s. You should be buying those contracts back that expire in those dates and now writing closer in dates instead at perhaps lower strikes. Absolutely. Get the calendar back. Get that asset back in your pocket, because the calendar is your secret weapon to making money as an option writer. Again, if you're a class taker here, you know what I'm talking about. Welcome all of you to the party. Tesla's at 204, up 630 a share. I have a bad feeling about Tesla. I really have a vibe that's not so good. Their numbers, delivery numbers, come out sometime this week. And it won't be good. It will not be good. There are vehicles all over the place for sale. Didn't help that Hertz wanted to dump off a good chunk of their 100,000 Teslas on the used market. That's been going on now for, 6-7 months. They're dumping so many cars every quarter. That's not good. The used prices of Teslas are really taking a hit. Again, I just don't see the reason why Tesla would be just, it's going to be great. I'm having trouble with that. But in any event, the market is the market. I don't know. Are shorts being squeezed? I don't know. But in any event, that's what we've got going on here. Hey, Savage of Wall Street, good morning, my fellow degenerates and simpletons. Gotta love the market. Welcome. Octavio, listen, I've been a member of this guy's channel for 37 months. 3 years and a month I've been a member here. Thanking you for what you do. Thank you so much. 37 months. I enjoy your morning show on my way into work. Rock and roll, Octavio. Thank you, my friend. Larry saying, thank you, Richard, for your kind words. Welcoming me back. I guess Larry was on a bit of a holiday. Great to have you back, my friend. Love that you're here. Thank you, all of you who are members of the channel, becoming members, have been members. You've been upgrading your membership to gold level membership. Thank you again. Octavio, Chilling with Uncle Bruce member level. Thank you, man. 475 voters on the poll question. Should GameStop and Chewy merge? Now that Keith Gill owns 9 million of each, should they just merge into one company? 43% say no. 57% saying, maybe that's a good idea. 143 thumbs ups and counting. Thank you all of you for the thumbs up meter, hitting that thing hard. I appreciate you. It's a wonderful thing. Welcome all to the Party Pals. Welcome to the show, where on this channel we try to make money by allowing gamblers to gamble. We're casinos. We're a channel full of casino operators that say, you know, the old Chewy stock's $29.77 right now. 28.82. It's jumping around like crazy. 28.80. It's now up $1.50. It was up higher to the 30 range. Now we're 28.70. GameStop 22.76, down $1.91. You know what we do here? We let people gamble on these shares, and we just say to them, "Hey, you want to take a bet on where you think the stock's going to go? Oh, I'll take your wager for you. Oh, no problem. I'm a casino." Because you see, casinos make money anyway. Casinos make money even when there are winners on the casino floor. If you've ever been to a casino in Las Vegas and you hear bells going off that someone just won, $500 or $1,000 or whatever that is, that's good for the whole floor because it raises the excitement level inside the casino, and it's possible to actually make money off of these guys. The rest of the gamblers start gambling heavier because they want to get the next jackpot. They want to be the next winner. Of course, there's only one out of 1,000, out of 5,000, or whatever the odds are. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Same thing here. If you're an option writer, you're going to let the market gamble, and you're going to say, you want to gamble on my GameStop shares? You feel that my GameStop shares, the shares that I own, are going to go up to $40 a share this week? I got a wager for you. I will. I'll give you something you can gamble on for that kind of an outcome if you like. I'll take your money right now, just like a slot machine. You put the money in first, and you can hit the button. Hopefully, the spin will work for you. Yeah, I'm there for you. I'll definitely take the action off your hands. The problem, of course, for the gambler, not for you, is they have a limited time frame for this to work. The slot machine only runs as long as you keep putting money in it. On the option market, options have an expiry date, which you can pick the one you want to offer contracts on. What contract you want to create? Which one would you like to sell? The one that dies this Friday? By the way, we're not trading on Thursday. The one that dies next Friday, with only 4 trading days this week and 5 trading days next week. Which contract do you want to write for how long? What strike price do you want to issue it at? And then you collect the premium and say, thank you, I got the money. And I might give you some of it back. I might not. Just like a slot machine. You put the $100 bill in there and start playing. Even those nickel machines, those nickel bets at 20 at a time, $1 a spin, sooner or later you're going to lose $100. It might take 140 spins to lose $100. But you're going to be amazed how quickly your 100 turns into 80, then it turns into 60, then it turns into 40, goes back to 50, 60, comes back to 50, 40, goes up to 70, 80, never goes back to 100. You just never get it back. It's amazing how it just deteriorates. And after an hour or so, or 20 minutes, or whatever your bet numbers are, your $100 is now down to $5 and $10 and $15. You're wiped out, and it's only a matter of time until you play it out. Misty Tree Woodcrafts has become a member of this channel. Children with Uncle Bruce member, thank you for joining us today. Great to have you here. It's wonderful that you came in. Hopefully you've been watching a while, and now you're part of the family. If you become a Gold Bagel member of this channel, there's a couple of benefits you can get over and above Chillin'. If you're a Chillin' member, of course, you can comment here on the live chat during market trading time right now. If you become a gold level follower, which is one of these guys here, you join me every day here, half an hour before I start this show, the pre-alert show for just Gold Bagel members. But you also get to join me Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock Eastern Time live just for Gold Bagel members. The Hangout Show, we talk about everything on the market. And you also get trading tips from time to time from yours truly. And then there's one more benefit. If you're a Gold Bagel member of this channel and you're getting into option writing, and you want to get even more information when I'm not here, when I'm off the air, because I'm only on the air a couple hours every day, the best way to now hang out with this group of regulars over here is to become part of the Discord group, and that's reserved for Gold Bagel members. If you're a Gold Bagel member, you can join this channel. All you need to do is take your existing membership and upgrade it to gold level, which can be done through the YouTube connection that you used. Just go to your channel settings where it says members and click on that, and it'll show you the memberships you have, and it'll offer you whatever you want to do. You become a Gold Bagel member of this channel. Send me a private email and just say, hey, Uncle Bruce, listen, I just became a Gold Bagel member. Here's my email address right here. I just became a Gold Bagel member of your channel. My name is so-and-so. This is my Gold Bagel member handle. Gold Bagel member handle. I'd like to become part of the Discord group. I will then send you some information on how you become a member of the Discord channel. And now you can hang out with the regulars 24/7. And this is where you compare with them, or just listen in or watch the chat and just absorb the chat that's going on. There's all kinds of subgroups inside the Discord channel, all handled by someone else. I don't run it. I don't control it. I'm not there. It's you. It's you, the option writers. So if you want to hang out with option writers, go to the Discord group. You want to be part of the Discord group, become a Gold Bagel member, and you'll automatically be invited in. If again, you just have to ask. You have to let me know. Uncle Bruce, I'm a Gold Bagel member. My name is so-and-so. I've just joined in. I would love to be part of your Discord group. And you can be active or not active. You can be posting or not posting. You can occasionally post. It's totally your call. Great place for you to absorb what the thoughts are of the members of this channel. And that's another way to benefit from this channel's existence as a Gold Bagel member on top of that. Okay, I hope that's helping. Thank you all so much. Touchgrass, thumbs ups. Welcome, Misty, says Charlie. Christina, Uncle Bruce, I want to do a put spread on Chewy. What do you think? How far out do I do? In the money or out of the money? There's the problem with Chewy, and it's a problem. The stock's at $28.60 now. Got up to $33, $34. Is it over? Just because Keith Gill has 9 million shares, what does this mean for the stock, really? Can it go to $40, $50 just because he owns 9 million shares? I don't see that. I don't understand why the stock would go anywhere. I don't. There's no way anyone can take this thing over. Misty, hey all, sorry about the ad. Call me James. Rock and roll. Good Gold Bagel coming soon, says Misty. Christina, there's a 16 August $30 put I can buy for $5 and a $25 put I can sell for $2. What are you talking about? No. You'd be writing the $30 put and buying the $25. It's the opposite. You're getting a credit spread, not a debit spread. So I'm not sure what you're doing here. I would be bearish on it. Yeah, no. Nobody. Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill is being sued in a class action lawsuit by a person that owns 36 shares of GameStop for securities fraud. There you go. Yeah, well, every single public company that's out there, by the way, has lawsuits against it from shareholder groups, from law firms that are trying to constantly sign up people to become part of a class action lawsuit because they didn't do a proper declaration of their financials, or they should have made an announcement about the flat tire of a trailer at a warehouse center that caused a delivery to be half an hour late. I don't know. Some of these are so frivolous and so ridiculous that it's endless. The point is this, though. Every public company out there has what's called liability insurance against these kinds of fraud claims, and none of them will ever put a public company out of business. Basically, that's the end of the deal right there. And so for shareholders, it means nothing. For shareholders, there's no upside for this, no downside for this. It's just part of the business. And for some of you out there who've gone looking for headlines on a public company, You'll find from time to time something like press releases that are apparently out there, and 8 of 10 press releases, the same law firm is reposting and reposting and reposting every day, every second day, every third day, reposting the fact that they want to sue this company for whatever issue, and they're seeking investors, shareholders, to join the lawsuit. And that's all it is. And it's a promise of potential easy money. If we win the settlement, we could get easy money. I can tell you there's only one winner. There's always one winner each and every time on these kinds of deals. It seems to me to be the lawyers. The suing lawyers seem to be the winners, because somehow, I don't know if they are able to extract money from the shareholders up front as a cost of this thing. They try to get $100 a person, $500. I don't know. I don't go into this stuff. I'm not a lawyer. I don't care. But this is common stuff that we hear about all the time. Anyway, there it is. That's the story. And I'm sticking to it. Welcome all of you to the show. I'm glad to have you here. It's great to see you this morning. The Dow's up nicely, 296 on Canada Day. The Dow Jones is happy that it's Canada Day. How about that? AI is down 25 cents a share. GameStop is at 23.25. The low today, 22.72. We've bounced back 50 cents from the low. The high, 23.67. We're only 45 cents away from the high of the day. Volume, 7.78 million on GameStop. We seem to be inching higher from the opening lows. ME, 39.3 cents a share. Nothing there. Sofi, 6.58, down 3 cents. Nothing there. Waiting to hear from Sofi now about the big news. What is the big news, you're asking? If you haven't been around here a while, you don't know, or if you don't watch me often, you're not aware of the fact that today is the 1st of July. And because it's the 1st of July today, the end of the second quarter is done. June the 30th was yesterday. That was the last day of the second quarter of this year, fiscally speaking. And that means, in the case of Sofi, that their second quarter is over. They're now into their third quarter. But that is not the announcement, and that's not what I want you to be thinking about. What I want you to understand here is that now that the second quarter is done, the finance department at Sofi, which is what they do this all the time, they're figuring out how they're doing, how much money they're making. Now they know how much money they're making. They're constantly monitoring cash flow on a minute-to-minute, hour-by-hour, day-by-day basis. But in the next 4 weeks, Sofi will release their financials for the just concluded second quarter of the year, which will be a profitable quarter according to my estimates and all estimates on the street. The company will report a profit for the second quarter of 2024, which will happen to mean and be that this will be the third consecutive quarter of profits for Sofi. They had a quarterly profit in the last quarter of last year, a first quarter of this year. Now the second quarter of this year will be profitable. That's 3 consecutive quarters of profits for Sofi. And right now, we're into the third quarter of the year, which is the fourth quarter of consecutive profits has just begun for Sofi. So in 89 days from now, give or take, about 3 months from now, Sofi will have ended the third quarter, like all other corporations who ended the third quarter, the end of September. And by the end of October, Sofi will release the results of their third quarter of this year, which will then mark the fourth consecutive quarter of earnings for the company Sofi. And that is a milestone. Huge, gigantic, massive milestone. It was a huge milestone for Tesla when they had 4 consecutive quarters of profits. It was a huge milestone for Microsoft, a huge milestone for all publicly traded companies out there that are part of the S&P 500 index. Companies that become members of the S&P 500 index had to have 4 consecutive quarters of profits in order to qualify to become members of the S&P 500 index. And our friends at Sofi, as far as I can figure out, as of last night at midnight, just ended their 3rd consecutive quarter of profits. They just concluded that. They're now into their 4th quarter of consecutive profits. Sofi is growing leaps and bounds, adding members like you can't believe, adding deposits left, right, and center, growing their portfolio. They have their back office divisions, their high-tech divisions, their AI area. They are blowing the doors off of their numbers. Phenomenal. Robinhood is successful because of Sofi. People keep forgetting that. Sofi has made and is making many other companies financially successful because of the Galileo division and the other divisions that they run. Their high-tech back office machine that they've got. Sofi is a moneymaker, and Sofi will be releasing financials within the next 4 weeks for the just concluded 2nd quarter, which will be their 3rd quarter of profitability. 1 to go. By the time we get the numbers, they will be 1 month into the 3 months of the 4th consecutive quarter of profit. So by the time we get the numbers, we'll be now on a 90-day countdown for the numbers of the 4th consecutive quarter of profits. That is a huge milestone to be eligible to become a member of the S&P 500 index. The minute, the second, the moment that it is obvious that Sofi will be an S&P 500 member, or it's announced that they will join the S&P 500 at such and such a date, the moment that is done, all bets are off where the stock's going to be. Because every mutual fund and ETF that is out there that are known as index funds, the so-called index funds of the world, of which there are hundreds, will all need to acquire Sofi shares in their portfolios. They have to own it. They have to own shares of all 500 S&P stocks to accurately reflect the performance of the index. They're mirroring the index for investors. The bigger Sofi gets in cap value, the more dominant it becomes as a member of the S&P 500. This is why NVIDIA shares have been gobbled up by every institution across the world. Every fund, every index fund of the S&P 500 owns NVIDIA. They own Apple, they own Google, they own Amazon. All 500. Sofi will be in that group. Now, if it's only 10,000 shares per fund or 15,000 shares per fund average, 25,000 shares per fund average that need to be acquired, times hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of funds, we're talking about a ton of stock that will be acquired. It could well be 200,000 shares per fund. I don't know the final number. It will vary depending on where the shares are on Sofi and the profitability expectations going forward to the 4th quarter, the 1st quarter of next year, the 2nd quarter of next year, the 3rd quarter of next year. Every quarter going by from now on will be profitable for Sofi. They have passed the point of profitability from an economic of scale. The economics of scale has been breached. Back at the end of 2023, they breached that number. It's now beyond. That's the difference. That's the story. That's why Sofi at 658 is such a bargain right now. Sofi at 658 is about 1/4 of the price where the shares will probably be by the time they are in the S&P 500 index. And you're sitting there going, well, wait a minute. Why isn't the stock trading at $20 a share now? The stock's going to be $25 a share by the time they become part of the S&P 500. Why are they trading at 658? Because what I just told you, the street doesn't know. What I've just told you, no one really talks about it. Have you heard this information from anywhere else? Let me know. I'd love to know where else you hear this from. I don't know of any other sources that this information comes out from. In any event, the poop is about to hit the fan, and oh, it's going to be fun. It's just going to be a fun time. Anyway, there you go. And look, talk about fun. Who just walked in the door of this room?
Food.
Talking about food. Oh my God, Auntie Jen, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Auntie Jen has on a Canada shirt, a T-shirt that says Canada. It's Canada
One
Day.
little, two little, three Canadians. We love thee. Now we are more than 20 million.
What are we now? 40 million.
40 million. Oh, look at us go.
We're allowing in all these immigrants.
Look at us go. 40 million.
40 million. Yeah.
Are we more than California?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, we're higher than California now. Yeah, we finally passed California in size.
California in population.
In population, yeah.
Yes, I figured, to celebrate.
Why not? Put on the old Canada shirt.
157 years.
157 years. 1867. Wow.
Not even a wrinkle.
Calgary, where we are, was founded in 1885. The year the railway came through here. The National Railway from east to west, linking the west coast and east coast of Canada by rail for the first time. 1885.
Not always making good geography decisions, but making good business decisions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the railway made business decisions. They've done rather well.
Let's have a great big city that isn't on water. There you go, yeah. But what is it on? A railway line.
A railway line that can bring water to it.
They can bring water.
Well, we have a couple of rivers here, so we do have water.
Makes absolute sense, yeah.
Yeah, but we're also
at the confluence of the bow and the elbow.
But we're only 50 miles away from the Rockies, and when the rail line got here from Winnipeg, from 1,200 miles away, all the way out to here, they did not know. The engineers of the CPR, Canadian Pacific Railway, were spiking down the rail line here. And they could see the mountains just over there. You could see them. They had no idea how they were going through them. They didn't know the route.
They didn't have drones yet.
No, they didn't have drones in 1885. So they kept laying the track along the Bow Valley, following the Bow River, towards the mountains.
Yeah.
And they knew they could get to the mountains, and they could get into the mountains about 15, 20 miles. They knew that.
Yes.
What they didn't know was how to get over and through the Selkirks and the Rockies. They
asking all of the natives, how do you guys walk through? Do you ever walk through?
You guys ever? And the natives are going,
would go, why would you want to?
We hunt on this side of the mountain. There's lots of game here, lots of fish in the lakes and streams.
We don't normally go sightseeing.
Yeah, we don't. What's Vancouver? Victoria? Yeah. Who the hell is that?
And on the other side,
going, the prairies? What the hell do we need to go to the prairies for? We're hunting game here.
Yeah.
We got our turf. We got this natural wall here. Why would we go over it? Makes no sense.
But they used to they would move their horses from Alberta to BC, and then from BC back to Alberta. They would do trail drives, so they knew how to bring cattle through,
but not
through the Crow's Nest Pass.
But not before the railroad. No.
I don't know.
No, there was no.
The
Kicking Horse Pass didn't exist.
That's probably true, because the Kokanee that live and the Kootenai that live in the Kootenai Valley have a distinctive language,
right? Because
they didn't have to talk to anybody else.
Yeah,
they had everything they needed.
That's right. They were in that region. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the railroad got completed in 1885 in Calgary. They got here in 1884, and the last spike was in Kagalaki in British Columbia in 1885. They finally finished the line. And now you could travel from Vancouver, Vancouver, British Columbia, all the way to Montreal, Toronto in 5 days, 6 days, inside Canada. All the way inside Canada. In the summer, yes. In the winter, still iffy because of the amount of snow, depending on where we were. The
Coquihalla Highway closes.
There were weeks in the early days where the line in British Columbia was shut down because of 10 feet of snow, 15 feet of snow. That's when they started building snow sheds. And then they
Right.
started boring tunnels. They figured that one out, especially the spiral tunnels through the Kicking Horse Pass, and then
Yeah.
eventually under Rogers Pass, the one big blockage.
Because they have there's a limit on what the decline or incline can be.
That's correct.
Is
So
it 12?
it
No,
was 1
12 is too
foot
much.
per 300, and
Yeah.
it was at one point 1 foot per 100. We had 1 and 2% grades, scary 3% grades. And so what happened was trains would come to the bottom of a pass where you'd go up, 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 up. Well, they would have big time pusher engines there, huge monsters of engines. Their sole job is to push a railroad train set over a pass and then use brakes to hold it
Yeah.
from running away on the other side.
And all those engines had to have brakes to stop it on the
That's
other
right.
side.
So what they would do is they would cut the train down to 1/3 of its size. And so they would bring 1/3 of the train over at a time to get it up and down and then reassemble it on the other side and continue on. Well, this was a bottleneck of gargantuan proportions. And so the Connaught Tunnel was built under Rogers Pass to cut 1,200 feet of elevation off the mountain pass at least. And then another tunnel was built in the 70s and 80s, just this 50 years ago, 40 years ago, to do it to even more. And they twinned and tripled it. So they now had 2 and 3 railroad tracks going through the mountain. So they had no delays. Billions and billions of dollars in today's dollars. Trillions of dollars of benefit for the country. Done by the CPR. The history of Canada and its railroads.
How is the market okay without Canada being open?
Well,
Okay?
GameStop was crying this morning. The people who follow GameStop got down to $22.72, but we're now at $23.45. We're still down $1.20, but we're coming back.
Those people who write options kind of like the motion.
Those call option writers that follow this channel, those folks are doing okay.
Even your iron condors, you can just keep in between them.
Well, that's the thing. If you're doing iron condors or you're doing put credit spreads, those of course folks here who are cash secured put writers, they were this morning waiting for the stock to bottom out. They saw it under 23 and kind of went, I might want to write some cash secured puts here, maybe some 22s, 20s.
I thought I heard
even 25s. There would probably are some wah-ha-has going on. Tesla's up nicely, up $9.90 at 207.
Is that just because it went down too far?
Well, this price is quite, in my opinion, this is danger. I don't think it's a good idea to be writing credit spreads, put credit spreads just behind this market. I would be 20% behind, at least. I'd be down to 150, 60. Because I'm worried about the delivery numbers coming out later this week, and I'm worried about a pullback. Something's not right in China here, and maybe that's exactly the issue. China, Tesla 207, something's up, and I don't know quite what to make of that. Chewy today, however, is the big star of the show, and yet it's not so good now. But a Chewy this morning was $32 to $35 a share, up $6. It's now down $1 at $26 a share, because Keith Gill apparently owns 9 million of Chewy and 9 million of GameStop.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So I made a poll question this morning.
Sounds like he's a fan of someone.
I did a poll question today that basically says, should GameStop and Chewy merge? Since Keith Gill owns 9 million GameStop and 9 million Chewy, should both companies become one company and just make them all one shareholder? 551 voters have responded to my poll question, which is pretty good.
And so, what do they think?
I only have 163 thumbs ups, but I got 550 people on the poll question.
See, there you go.
44% say 56% go no. We don't think they should merge.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that number.
I was trying to figure out how would this work if they were to do a merger. How would they merge? Because GameStop has $4 billion in cash, $4.2 billion. Chewy has $600 million in cash. They're both about $10 billion, $11 billion in so-called market cap value. So they're kind of the same value in that sense.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
So would they just do a share swap only? So for every share of Chewy,
I don't know.
you get 1 share of GameStop, or for every share of GameStop, you get 1 share of Chewy? Or would you call the company, XYZ combo company, and everybody gets 1 share of combo company now? There are no GameStop shares.
Right.
There are no Chewy. There's just combo, and everyone is a shareholder.
There's only
of combo.
Zool.
There's only Zool. Okay, let's call it Zool.
Yeah.
And so Zool is the new name of the company. And what we end up with here is a scenario where, people own shares of Zool, and Zool start trading. Now, Whitezilla 777 is a new member of this channel, and says, "Hello, Bruce. We're recovering. Welcome, everybody."
They're recovering.
Honestly, thought GameStop was going to stay in the $25 channel area. FYI, the lawsuit that got filed against Keith is negligible at best. The guy that filed the lawsuit against Roaring Kitty is crying over $200. So it's a big old nothing burger to me. Zool, says BT Ziddle. We should call the company Zool. The new company of GameStop and Chewy
what's
becoming
their tagline?
one. Zool.
There is only Zool.
There's only Zool. There's no Chewy. Only Zool, says J-Boy. See, that's how we can do it. Welcome, Whitezilla 777, to the party, pal. Nice to have you here today. There's only Zool. No one but Zool. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the benefit of the two becoming one would be. I'm trying to figure that out. We've got 166 thumbs ups now. Thank you, everybody. I don't know. 559 people are responding. 56% say no. 44% say yes. I guess there would be this. If you combined the two companies together, what would you have? You'd have a public company with approximately $4.8 billion in cash in its bank.
Very diverse product
an
lines.
Online pet store retail entity over here, a brick and mortar and online seller of games and systems over there. You'd have to find a way to have an overall board of director overseers, and then you're going to have a chairman of the board, and you're going to need a CEO of the GameStop division and a CEO of the Chewy division. And
you'd still be running two companies.
So,
yeah, you're just doubling your
there's
effort. There's no
cost savings. The two, you'd save a little bit.
There's no sympathy between those two companies.
You'd save a little bit of money because you'd have one public company instead of two separate public companies. So, filings would be one. Securities lawyers, fewer needed, sure. But it's a business synergy. What, are you going to sell GameStop product on Chewy's website? What, are you going to sell pet supplies on GameStop? You're going to put pet food in a GameStop store? No, it makes no sense. So, no, I don't see that working at all. I see more synergy where GameStop buys up 20% of all the stock of Best Buy and just buys it, and now becomes the Best Buy's #1 shareholder, putting the votes of that plus 31% of the other votes, and now making Ryan Cohen the chairman and CEO of Best Buy GameStop as one public company. That would be a move GameStop could make with the kind of money they've got. But they'll be fought at every quarter by the New Yorkers who don't want anything to do with that.
The two companies are completely separate entities.
Yeah, but again, they both sell games and stuff. But one is the, you would shut down some GameStop stores and put them inside Best Buy. You do that. But
you don't go to Best Buy to buy a game.
Well, they do. No, you do. People do go to Best Buy to buy games, and they buy controllers, and they buy headphones, and they buy the chairs, and they. Oh yeah.
They go to GameStop, honey.
They go to GameStop, honey. Okay, well there you go. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So
you know what there is? There's only Zool and BT Ziddle knows. Whitezilla says, I'm happy to be here. And Whitezilla, honestly, GameStop buying big into Best Buy would be a smart move.
Yeah.
See, like I say, I'm saying. Yeah.
Did Best Buy buy Future Shop?
In Canada, Best Buy and Future Shop merged together. To form Best Buy Canada. Yeah. So Best Buy decided to eliminate their biggest competitor by just buying them. And the Canadian regulators weak-kneed as they are, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure, that won't be a problem for Canadians
There's no combine
to have
there.
just
No, that's
a
fine.
giant electronic retailer instead of two. Oh no, there won't be any competition problems. Canadians will do just fine. Of course, the prices now at Best Buy are higher than they were. Welcome to the party, pal. There's still Walmart in Canada to compete and keep them honest, and there's Costco, but we don't have a Target. So anyway,
No.
yeah. So, are you offering?
Would you like a bagel?
Are you offering a bagel
That's
scenario?
why I came in.
Boy, that'd be kind of fun.
Okay.
I haven't had bagel with grape jelly on it for a long time, but not too much.
Not since last Monday.
Just a light spread of that, if you're willing to do. Awesome. You gotta love this, kids. I'm glad to be here, says Whitezilla. Thank you. Glad to have you. Welcome all to the party, everybody. It's Monday, July the 1st. Welcome to the party. Sofi shares on sale, $6.56. It's a limited time offer. GameStop super sale, $23.14, having touched $22.70 on sale. Chewy, $25.87, down $1.36 after such a wonderful opening. Now not doing so well. 27.6 million shares traded on Chewy. Volume on GameStop, 10.2 million today. Volume on Sofi, 3.5 million today. Sofi volume very quiet. Of course, the high is 667, the low 656. We had a 10-cent spread. There's nothing going on Sofi today. Let's be honest. It's pretty quiet today. There you go. What do you think? Do you think Best Buy? Do you think that GameStop should try to buy up a bunch of Best Buy stock on the open market and just try to buy it up? What about that game? I don't know. I mean, there might be something to that game. Maybe GameStop should try to buy up BBB. Is it BBBY for Best Buy? What's the symbol for BBY? Best Buy. BBB. I don't know. I gotta punch it in here. Best Buy. Best Buy is BBY. There you go. BBY. Okay. What's the story there? We got a total of 195 million float, 215 million outstanding. Best Buy is a market cap of $18 billion, about double the size of GameStop, approximately. And as far as Best Buy goes, let's see, what's their cash balance right now? Cash balance at Best Buy, $1.45 billion. Where that's Best Buy. GameStop has $4.2 billion in cash, where Best Buy only has $1.45 billion in cash. So if you merge these two companies together, you would have $5.6 billion in cash. If you did an all stock deal, you would take 215 million of Best Buy and 420 something GameStop. You probably have about what would that be? Maybe 500 million shares outstanding of Best Buy. GameStop shareholders would have half the stock, and Best Buy would have half the stock. I'm wondering about that. I don't know. I'm just curious. And of course, if our friends at if Best Buy started buying up, if GameStop started buying up Best Buy stock, just in the open market, just started buying it up. The low of the 52 weeks is 62, the high 93. For GameStop to buy up 5 or 10% of Best Buy should take a nothing burger. It wouldn't be too hard to do. But 10% of the company would probably run them about $1.8 billion. 20% would run them, at these prices, would run them $3.6 billion. That would use up most of their cash. But GameStop would then be a 20% shareholder of Best Buy. They'd be one of the largest shareholders of Best Buy. Probably be the largest shareholder of Best Buy. Actually, that'd be something. I don't know. I'm wondering. Apparently, a Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity is expected at any minute, they say. We're waiting for that to come out. What will be the verdict from the court regarding immunity for Trump's bid for immunity. Well, we're just waiting to see what comes out of there. Waiting for that to be revealed. How will the market react to that ruling? How will the stock market react to the possibility of full immunity for the President of the United States, former President of the United States? We're up 91 on the Dow, 101. S&P down 1 point, NASDAQ down 3, and wondering what comes of that. Anybody watching for that? Let me know. Yeah, Best Buy would be smart. BBY says Richard White. Oh, so I'm at the crossroads here. I got in at 27, and it's dropped to 23. I'm thinking I should get out because it's starting to hurt kind of bad. You could always write 25s and probably bring in $4 or $5, which will bring your cost down to 22. Touchgrass GameStop could start a Build-A-Bear for computers. Parker Touchgrass, I love that idea. Justin, do you still like GameStop? Saw something about a potential something. 30 for 1 says Justin. 30 for 1. 2 big moves: buy into Best Buy and then bring back physical media. B Tizzle, did you sell any calls? Jason, no one should be above the law. There you go. Well, we know what should be done. There's a question of what will be done. We have 572 votes now here for the poll question of the day today. Thank you guys for being here. 572, 44% say, yeah, GameStop and Chewy should merge. And 56% say, I don't think that's a good idea, Bruce. We have 170 thumbs ups approximately right now. Thank you for the thumbs ups, everybody. Keep them coming in. Welcome to Canada Day. Let's see how it goes. What will happen with the Dow and this market? What's gonna go? We're up 104 on the Dow right now. Is the Supreme Court about to release their answer? What will happen? I wonder about that. Fun times. I don't know. Let's see. Sofi 657 down 4. Nvidia down $2. Rocket Lab down 11. Matterport down 5. Supermicro 793. We were at $1,000 a share just a week ago. Unbelievable. Spiders are down 20 cents. The Qs are down 36 cents. Markets are not doing anything yet. Adobe down 116, Uber down 250, Apple's up $4, Tesla's up 11.20, Enphase down 92 cents, Netflix down 8.84, AMD is down 7.36, AMD Advanced Micro. Someone I know wrote some calls against AMD. I'm wondering how he's doing. Haven't heard from my friend in Italy today. How is Luca today? Whitezilla, B Tizzle, unfortunately no. Did you sell any calls? No, but you can always look to sell calls. You can always do that. Unity down 17 cents. Google up 56. Moderna up 82. Cisco up 11. Pfizer up 60. Microsoft up $3. Dow Jones Media, DJT up 38 cents. IBM up 113. Amazon up $2. Home Depot down $4. Goldman is up 4. Boeing is up $3.50 with all their problems. Facebook Meta down $8, $4.96. Target down about 70 cents. JP Morgan up $3.50. Costco down $3.50. Walmart down 6 cents. Disney down $1. So there you are. That's where we're at. The Dow right now only up 60. Is the announcement out? Is it official? Do we have the announcement from the Supreme Court regarding the Trump thing? We're only up 45 points. We're going down on the Dow. Is there news? I do know. Ringu, I do know, says Paul McCartney. Ringu, I do know. I don't know. Don't see anything yet. Anybody? Anybody see anything anywhere? You let me know, everybody. We'll follow it, see what's going on. Just trying to stay on top of what's happening out there in the wild, wild world in which we live. CNN right now, still waiting on the thinking here. Supreme Court is going to let a truck stop sue the Federal Reserve in the latest threat to agency regulations. Okay. Let's see. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Waiting to hear and watch watch and see what's going to be said. Don't know. No. Waiting on the latest. New York Times headlines. Still waiting for the Supreme Court to speak. Still waiting. What's going on? All right. The Dow right now is up 77. So I don't have anything there. Washington Post. Headlines to rule. Supreme Court to rule. Waiting on the Supreme Court ruling. Has not yet come out. So there you are. We're up 83 on the Dow. We're up 4 on S&P. We're up 39 on NASDAQ. There you go. NVIDIA stock keeps dropping, headline says. What's concerning the market? There's a headline there on NVIDIA. The shares of NVIDIA right now are sitting at, what are we doing right here? NVIDIA, 121, down 192, high of 140 range lately. That's the story. Waiting on a result from the Supreme Court. What are they going to do? What did they rule regarding Trump's immunity thingy? That's what could affect the market right now. We're waiting to see what's going on over there. Again, thank you all for being through here. Parker Ivy, I snapped up a GameStop 23 cash secured put for 87 cents expiring this Friday. Whitezilla, B-Tizzle, bought shares, no calls or puts. Bought a small amount, figured I'd make a little flip and run trade, and it didn't exactly the direction I was thinking it would. There you go. Well, that's gambling. We don't gamble here as option writers. We're the opposite. We go the opposite direction. We write contracts. We let the gamblers guess. We don't figure on quick flips. We just write quick, short-term, medium-term option contracts that expire kind of worthless. That's kind of how we do it here. We just take this easy money off the street and say, thank you, sir, may I have another? 209 on Tesla, up $11. Spiders are up 13 cents, nothing going on. Google up 81 cents, nothing going on. Waiting for the ruling about this Trump thing, this presidential immunity thingy, waiting to see what is going to happen here. Still waiting and watching the markets to see if they react in any brutal way, good or bad. We don't know. We'll see what's going on. There you have it. As far as I know, that's all I can say. Oh, man, here we go. Babies. Thank you.
It took longer. They were frozen.
Oh, right.
We'd forgotten to take any of
Well, we had to forget. Thank you, Auntie Jen.
A light schmear.
Yeah, I like it. A light schmear of this good stuff. Thank you, man. Okay, thank you, babe. Awesome sauce, boys and girls. Awesome sauce. Here we are. Yeah, baby. Here we go. Always be writing. There's only Zool. That's right. Luca, your favorite Italian is here with a big fat 174 thumbs up. It's back from Oslo. The call I wrote on AMD, I'm doing extremely well with a nice grin on my face. Right on, buddy. Bagel. Luca. On the other hand, I need NVIDIA to stay above 120 by Friday and the SMCI above 740 by Friday. That's what I need over there. So there you have it. Welcome to the show, everybody, and welcome, Luca, to the party. Thank you, everybody. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. It's at a state. 174 thumbs up. Thank you. What is this market going to do? We're up 62 on the Dow. Yeah. I do not know. Waiting to see how the Supreme Court ruling is going to come out. Waiting and wondering. Wondering and waiting. We do not know. We do not know. Still waiting. CNN hasn't got it yet. Waiting to see what the ruling will be regarding his immunity. We just can't tell you. We'd like to say, but we can't say. We just don't know. CNN is live at the Supreme Court. They're talking, they're waiting, wondering. That's the story. I'm sticking to it. $23.15 on GameStop, down 155. Chewy down 134. Neither stock is up today. Tesla trying to get to 210, which is the high of the day. Here it is, 209.97, 99. Awfully close. Yep. Fun times, kids. And if you see the ruling, you let me know. Christina, hey, Uncle Bruce, do you think that the GameStop will have the inverse to what the market does under the ruling? I have no idea. I really don't know. Zed, GameStop, August 9/24, 32 sold, 10 contracts for 2 each. $2,000. That was so easy. Zed, my cost on the stock was 30. Whitezilla, man, are they really trying everything to keep Trump from getting reelected? They're trying everything. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. 2303 on GameStop. Next question for those of us who have written calls when GameStop was much higher. Now we're sitting in the 46% profit. Should we roll in and down? Yeah. Bring in more money. Make it a gain, though. 25.70 on Chewy, down 160 now. 25.60. Low of 25.55. We're at the low of the day on Chewy right now. I would avoid this stock. I just cannot fathom what to do with this thing. It's scary. Dow's still up 50. Dow holding a 50-point gain right now. Oh my. And this dangerous Category 4 hurricane is coming in to the Leeward Islands here in the Caribbean, man. It is barreling. Not looking good. 39-point gain on the Dow. The Dow was tentative. Oh my. 34-point gain on the Dow, a 3/4 point drop on S&P, 30-point gain on NASDAQ. Less than a tenth of a point, an eighth of a point. There's nothing going on here. We're very quiet, waiting for this ruling. Oil up 23 cents a barrel. That's what we got right now, kids. It's what we're at. Keeping an eye on this market, see what gives. Waiting for the immunity ruling. That's what we're waiting for. Tesla 210.80. It's rolling. $210.90 on Tesla, going for 211 plus. Man, oh man. Dow's up 18, S&P down a point, NASDAQ up 32. There you are. We don't know. I know one thing. I'm eating a bagel right now, and it is a sesame seed toasted bagel. It has got grape jelly on it, and it is delicious. Fantastic. 211.20 on Tesla. What do we got? I don't know.
An oral argument, because what this means is that the former president cannot be prosecuted for anything that was officially part of his job when he was in office. And that's significant because even his own lawyers conceded during oral argument that not every of his job when he was in office. And that's significant because
no idea. I've got multiple things going on here on my computer, and I don't see anything coming through yet. Let's see how this plays out. Anyway, the GameStop shares are under 23 again, 22.90. Tesla holding 211. Chewy at 25.77. That's 20 cents away from its low of the day. Dow's holding a 12-point gain. Now it's flat. Dow's flat. The Qs are down 18 cents. The SPYs are 61 cents negative. Apple up 4, Tesla up $13 at the moment. Okay. Waiting on the ruling to come out on Trump. Breaking news, Supreme Court rules former presidents entitled to some immunity from prosecution. Some immunity on prosecution is the first headline out of CNN that I can see. Let's see. Splair, Ryan Cohen's looking for mobile app developers. He recently posted on X, apparently. Thank you, Splair. How you doing, buddy? Do we know what price the Keith Gill bought Chewy for? Does anyone know? I don't know. Not sure. Okay. As far as the index goes, the Dow right now is up 2 points. S&P down 1. NASDAQ up 41. Dow now down 12. S&P down 2. NASDAQ holding 35 points to the upside. Zed, I don't know. I'm not sure if that news is publicly out. It might be out. I heard $245 million is what he spent on the Zillow shares. On the Chewy shares. $245 million. So 9 million shares, $245 million. $26, $27. Did he do it through an option deal? I don't know. Okay. But I don't think he had to file the amount. I'm not sure if he had to declare it. I'm not sure. But there will be followers who will post that. They'll calculate it out. Dow's now down 33. Another comment on this case, the Trump thing. The Wall Street Journal says the court ruled that former U.S. presidents retain significant immunity from prosecution for acts taken while in office, a decision that could hamper efforts to prosecute Donald Trump for his alleged attempt to subvert the 2020 election. Mm. Mm. Interesting. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Well, we'll see how this all plays out, kids. Just looking at their headlines like you are probably. And my video's done. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll show it. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Spirit, I hope you're going to be okay. We're fine. Jen and I are fine. Dude says, as for Tesla, the 200 day moving average is a 205. So if we close above that, would be a bullish signal. Christina, if so, that is 26.92. Luke, last week I closed my my something iron condors, NVIDIA, and it's got about 600 euro for them. Making money there. Jason, I see Robinhood took their 4th of July break early. Supreme Court sends Trump immunity case back to lower court in Washington, dimming prospects of a pre-election trial. Square Strange GameStop extended chart is 30 cents higher than the casual chart. Luca, these new that I set up today could bring me another 600 euros more or less. Then I can close for 400 to leave the change because I'm nice. Who cares? Slayer 23.30 on GameStop extended to 23.04. There were 22.48 on GameStop now. We're down 2.21. Chewy down $1.04 at 26.21, and Tesla backing off 209. B Tizzle bought back my July 5, 27.5 on GameStop. Sold them Thursday for 151. I bought them for 39 cents today. Well done. Just sold July 26, 24.5 for 235. Right on, man. Always be ready. 22.48 on GameStop, near the low of the day of 22.37 so far. Watching the rest of the market, I've got the Dow off 29 points right now. AI down 3. I've got GameStop down 222, Sofi down 6, NVIDIA down 145, Rocket Lab down 14. The Spiders are down 84, the Qs are down 57. Adobe's is up $3. Uber down 297. Apple up 366. Tesla up 1169. Enphase down 139. Netflix down 913. AMD down 790. ATIP is down 1.9. Unity down 12 cents. Google up 23. Moderna down 46. Cisco unchanged. Pfizer up 43. Microsoft up 470. The Dow Jones, Trump media stock up 60 cents at 33.35. IBM up 139. Amazon up $2. Home Depot down 626. Vanik Semiconductors down 270. Goldman Sachs up 330. Boeing up 360. Meta down 860. Target down 120. JP Morgan up 295. Costco down 470. Walmart up down 14. Disney down $1.06. American Airlines down 14. AMC's up 3 pennies at $5. DraftKings down 168. Royal Caribbean down 350 at 155.86. Welcome all to the party. We're down 35 on your Dow Jones right now. Luca, sorry for the mistypos. Doing too many things at once. Auntie Jen would agree. Men can't multitask. There you go. It's okay, my friend. Just keep making money, everybody. Just keep making money. Congratulations, all of you. 26.03 on Chewy. The low of the day, 25.50. GameStop, 22.45. The low of 22.37. 14 million traded on GameStop. 34 million on Chewy. Tesla, 210.30, up $12. High of 211.55 so far today. Google up 18 cents, but that's all at the moment. That's what we have so far, everyone, on this market, with more headlines continuing to come out. Watching and following as best we can what is going on with the rulings and everything else. And there is a headline here. Ryan Cohen makes first X Twitter post in months as GameStop seeks app developers. GameStop chief Ryan Cohen made his first post urging using social media platform to find staff for the video game retailer. Looking for strong mobile app developers in Dallas, he wrote on Twitter. Must be hands-on, intense work ethic, and previous experience building world-class mobile apps on iOS and Android. No college degree necessary. That's all we got. We don't know what this means. We don't know what this doesn't mean. We don't know how it means, why it means. This is cryptic. And we got nothing. I mean, it is. This is par for the course for the company. We just don't get a clear indication of what they're up to. We know they got $4.2 billion in cash. That much we know. So they can afford to hire guys. The question is who, what, where, when, why. I don't have an answer to that at the moment, everybody. We're just trying to follow this market as best we can. Thank you all for being here so far. Beach Boy Larry, markets were what nuts. The same without you, man. We missed you. Welcome back. Rock and roll, folks. 22.44 on GameStop. 10 cents above the low of the day here. 22.31, 22.41, 46, something like that. 26.12 on Chewy, down $12. Tesla 209.08, up $11. So we've had higher highs so far, and we've had lower lows, but we're down 35 on the Dow right now. We're down 7 on S&P. We're up 14 on NASDAQ. We're not going anywhere in this market. Oil is up 32 cents at the moment. The question now is, if a president is elected and can do almost whatever they want without legal ramifications, who do you want in the White House? You got to ask yourself, to give this individual this kind of power and this kind of immunity, who do you trust? Maybe that's the question. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out myself. Anyway, Savage Wall Street, a few weeks ago, I sold 2 GameStop $35 covered calls that expired Jan 25. I took in $15.99 a contract for those. Those are now $4.95 right now, placing $3 buyback stink bids. Assign them or leave me alone. Wow, you brought in almost $1,600 a contract for 2 of them. That's $3,200 you brought in, and they're now trading for a total of $1,000 in value. You're offering $600. What a nice guy you are. The kindness shown by Savage is overpowering, isn't it? This is the power of writing options. And here is someone writing 2 contracts This is 2 contracts. If Savage had written 20 of these contracts from 2,000 shares of GameStop, he would have hauled in $32,000. He could now give back a mere fraction of that. And there you go. There's the power of contracts to help with the moving of stock price. If you want to be a shareholder long term, this is how you play this game. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with this trade whatsoever. 22.46 right now on GameStop. 26.16 on Chewy. 208.90 on Tesla. We're backing off now from 211.50 to this level. GameStop, the market right now, the overall market, 69-point drop on the Dow, 9-point drop on S&P. We're going lower now. We're up 14 on NASDAQ. Supreme Court says lower court must determine which Trump acts were official and which were personal. There you go. Muddying it up even more. And there you have it. What can I say? There is what it is. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. We'll see how this all plays out, kids. Time will ultimately tell. There you go. Well done, guys, on your options today. Definitely well done. There it is. This is Monday, July the 1st, 2024. Never a dull moment in the option market and in the market itself. The Dow off 72 now with more red coming in. I'll be keeping an eye on this market all day. I'm sure you will too. Thanks again for those of you who have stepped up and have grabbed some classes. You've ultimately decided that you want to become option writers. You've decided that these premiums are the kind of dollars you want to get your hands on. Rather than try to guess what a market is going to do, you've just decided, I'm going to write calls. I'm going to write cash secured puts. I'm going to write credit spreads. And I'm going to stay way out of the market, way out of the way of these markets. And I'm just going to say, you figure it out. Let the gamblers gamble, not me. And I'll just say thank you for the shrinkage, and I'll just scoop these back for pennies of what I sold them for, and I'll write a batch of contracts all over again and keep bringing in this capital. This is a wonderful way to play this game. For some of you, many of you here, it has been a life changer, absolute life changer. The best part about being an option writer is you do not need to be in a cubicle anywhere to do this. You can go anywhere you want on this planet using one of these devices as your weapon to monitor your trades and do your trades. And it's all electronic. You can shift dollars between your brokerage account, your bank account, vice versa, credit cards. Travel the world if you want, trading options. It doesn't matter. If you do it right, you'll be coming home at the end of a trip with more money than when you left town with. That is the name of the game of this business. Being paid to write contracts and saying, thank you, sir. May I have another Splayer? I'm wishing you all an enjoyable day. I will see you tomorrow here. Richard, neat. That's right. Don't forget the knee emojis. Let the Knights of Knee know that they are the all-powerful force. Happy Canada Day to all my Canadian viewers. And happy July 4th coming up to my American viewers. Savage of Wall Street, I have many more contracts everywhere else laughing out loud. I got $30 expiring August, October, January. What are these? 2750s. Many in 19, 20, 22, and $25 cash secured puts expiring in January. Even a $40 cash secured put someone gave me for $22 for expiry January. Laughing out loud. Loving this game. Well done. What is going on here? Happy Canada Day from Brian. Howdy, partner. Neat. Luca can't understand why AMD is so low, though. It's amazing. Neat. What can we say? Markets go up, markets go down. AMD had a nice week this week. Maybe this week a bit of a pause. Profit taking? Who knows? 154.80 down 740. And Luca, you're doing well on those contracts, I am sure. Well done. Zed, September GameStop option just got published, so they're now out there to trade as well. Congratulations, everybody. We'll keep an eye on the markets. I know you will keep an eye on the markets, and we'll see just what's going on. These are good for my calls, these drops. Yes, they are, my friend. Very good. You may want to fairly shortly close them out for a nice little gain and sit on the sidelines, let a little rally come and ride them again. It's up to you how you play it. Totally up to you. Let them shrink out if you like. Thanks again for these thumbs ups, everybody. Approaching the 200 thumbs up window. Thank you, everybody, for helping out, getting us towards the 200 level. 186 thumbs ups are on the board. We have 633 people who have voted on our question of the day. Should GameStop and Chewy merge? Now that Roaring Kitty owns 9 million of each of them, should they merge? 45% say yeah, 55% no. So far, that's what we got right there. Thank you for the knee emojis, everybody. Don't forget to honor the Knights of Knee without any question at all. 186 thumbs ups. Thank you for the thumbs ups, guys. Keep them coming in if you can. Much appreciated. And again, thank you for your support of this channel, becoming Gold Bagel members of this channel for sure. I will be here first thing tomorrow morning. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow as Gold Bagel members. Will get on it. And don't forget Wednesday night, Prime Time Live with your buddy Uncle Bruce. I look forward to seeing you then. All right, guys, there it is. That's the story. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to pack it in here, and we'll keep an eye on the market from the sidelines. Thank you, Nico and B Tizzle. Thank you for these knee emojis. Misty Tree, zzz, there you go. Spirit can't wait for more possibilities on the June 2026 calls. Would like to roll the 12s if possible. Neat, Misty Tree, neat. Larry Titus, neat. D.H. Huda, neat. Everybody knows how to hit those knee emojis, Corinne. Neat. That's right. Hit them. Don't forget to honor the Knights of Neat for sure. All right, guys. That's enough of that. I'll see you later. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now from Calgary.